With a tsunami, that's pretty safe.
Yeah, if you're on the other side of the swell, but it looks like the swell is going to be coming from the north, so it'll wrap around the island like this. So they'll probably have to go out this way.
So once again, the Coast Guard telling people to get their vessels out to ocean, or if they are on land, to definitely get those vessels away. This is a shot of people in line to get gas at Eva Beach right now. And so there are a lot of people trying to prepare, get some last minute gas in case there are electrical outages, just basically to top off at this point. So again, use some patience here because there's a lot of traffic, a lot of people trying to get their preparations done because of the tsunami warning, and also to be getting out of areas like Eva Beach to try to, basically be out of an evacuation area.
And we continue to receive these images. Here is a aerial view from Ala Moana, overlooking Ala Moana and Atkinson. You can see just the traffic all along Ala Moana Boulevard, which is to be expected. This is something that turned into a warning just before 3 this afternoon, moments before an expected rush hour. Right, Ben? So you have all these people on the roads right now. DLNR is going throughout the coastlines, clearing people out, telling people to leave the area. You have many employees who are in the downtown business district or throughout Honolulu heading to the roads right now. So a high view. Traffic is just horrible right now. Please be patient, but this is a matter of not panicking, but be prepared. There is time. So 7:10 is the expected arrival of the first wave following an 8.8 quake in the far east region of Russia. And this is also what you see typically in these types of moments, right, Ben?
A lot of people getting their water over at Costco. At last check, I don't know, there might still be some, but people are getting their supplies. This is not like a hurricane, but at the same time, there is still the possibility that maybe infrastructure could be affected because some of the coastlines have some of the electrical places. Hiko has the Kahe power plant. Maybe it won't be affected, but it is a major power producer on the island of Oahu. Also Pearl City, that power plant there too, pretty close to the water. And so there are indications, well, I won't say indications, it's just that there is the possibility, but people trying to be prepared, getting their water at Costco earlier this afternoon.
Everyone's getting prepared. City officials are getting prepared. We have a shot from inside the city's Emergency Operations Center right now. You see Honolulu Mayor Rick Blangiardi in front as the city's emergency officials have gathered, just waiting to see what will be unfolding, monitoring any updates that may be coming in right now. This is a statewide event. All of Hawaii is under a tsunami warning right now, with the first wave expected to arrive at 7:10. Chief Meteorologist Jennifer Robbins is tracking those updates and has information for us. Hey, Jen.
Mark and Ben, all very good information that you have been sharing. We have been seeing some of those updates coming our way, and I have to say that this, which is great news to see that the city and the county has been prepared, and it looks like everyone is preparing well. Just a reminder, tsunami warning is in place due to this large earthquake that occurred in Russia at 8.8 magnitude, the depth at 19.3 kilometers. And with this caliber, that's why you could see the waves travel so far, as fast as a jumbo jet. We're talking about 500 plus miles per hour traveling over open waters with those tsunami waves. Tsunami warning is up, and it's going to be up throughout the next several hours. First wave expected after 7 o'clock. The closest to the epicenter is where the biggest tsunami waves have been reported. Of course, just off the coast of Russia here. We're talking about 3 to 4 meters, 9 to 13 feet has already been reported. And the NHK reported the first tsunami wave at 30 centimeters. So not very large in Japan quite yet, but they're expected it to be quite large into the next couple of hours. This is how it's going to break down. Tsunami readings already coming over Russia and Japan. Hawaii expecting to forecast anywhere between 1 to 3. That's where it's going to fall under at 3 to 10 feet expected. So expected after 7 o'clock. Guam expected the same kind of forecast at 1 to 3 meters, and that's 3 to 10 feet as well. None confirmed yet there. History has shown this magnitude with the depth in between 8 and 9 in 1959, magnitude 8 from Russia. It generated anywhere from 0.1 to 0.2 meters. That was just under a foot, expected under about 0.3 in this situation. Hilo saw the most damage in past tsunamis, and with all the boats and also the caliber of this, it could create even some foundation concerns for some of the houses that are very close to the shoreline or even right at the harbor there, all those boats that are parked there. So this is the time to prepare. This is going to coincide with the strong currents, rip currents coming our way, very unpredictable, as you know, and possibly some coastal flooding coming our way, coinciding with the high tide. So the high tide is peaking at 7:03, expecting the first wave to come our way at about 7:10, and it is coming in at 1.52 with that high tide. So on top of that, we're getting that tsunami energy coming our way. So for the first wave of energy, expected it to fall maybe at 0.1 to 0.3, and potentially could get up to 1 to 2 meters. It highly depends on how fast it travels over open waters, and unpredictable with those strong currents like we're talking about. So a lot of moving parts, a lot happening, and we're getting closer to that 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock hour. So definitely prepare calmly, but I have to say, guys, it's amazing to see the city, county, and all the residents come together in a fashion that has been fairly calm despite the chaotic news of the tsunami coming our way.
Thanks very much, Jen. We are, of course, trying to cut through the chaos and give you some calm, cool, and collected information. So once again, this is not a time to panic, but it is a time to take action. A lot of people, unfortunately, are taking action all at once. It's not their fault, but it's because the tsunami warning came down and then everybody started leaving at once. Case in point, Ala Moana Center, of course, the stores started closing there, and we did see a big traffic backup coming out of the parking lot. I think we've got a little bit of video of that. You can see traffic
and this is
at a standstill.
This is happening in parking structures all throughout the city right now and all throughout the state as everyone was leaving at the same time once the warnings came down. We are also receiving some new information on kind of the effects of this tsunami in other parts of the world. We had mentioned that a tsunami has already been seen in parts of Russia near the quake's epicenter. Japan was also under a tsunami warning, and Hokkaido is seeing the effects. Information is emerging from Hokkaido. The Japan Meteorological Agency said a tsunami measuring 1.3 feet was detected in Tokachi on the southern coast of Hokkaido, the northernmost of the country's main islands. And so early readings are coming in, Ben.
Yeah, it's a foot, and 1.3 feet may not sound like much, but once again, we will still have to be on the lookout for strong currents, because once again, this is not just the ocean surface, this is the entire water column that's being affected. And so we're going to at least see currents. We also have traffic, not only in Ala Moana, but also Ko'olina. This is what we are seeing getting out of that area. Most of these people, hopefully, were folks who were on the beach, who were maybe in the lower townhouses. But once again, if you're in those taller buildings, out in Ko'olina or anywhere else, if you're in the hotel district, if you're in an office building, 4th floor or above, that's where you should go. You will be safe there no matter the size of the tsunami. So again, 4th floor and above, do what's called a vertical evacuation. You don't have to leave the area, just go to a higher floor, 4th floor or above, and you will be safe.
We've seen traffic in Waikiki, Ala Moana, parts of urban Honolulu, out on the leeward coast at Ko'olina. We also have shots of the driving conditions along Oahu's windward coast right now. This is the Kaneohe Kahalu'u area. As you have traffic, and this is also an area too where, much like the leeward coast, a lot of high degree of concern among residents here to make sure that you have an evacuation plan and you have something in place, you have somewhere in place in times like this.
Yeah, especially this area, you're going to see a traffic backup nonetheless, because all these homes that you're looking at, they're very close to the ocean. No doubt they are in an evacuation area. Also, some people had to be told to evacuate. This is what it was like when HPD has been going out along the coastlines telling people what they need to do.
To evacuate Ala Beach Park. We are locking and securing the gates in 10 minutes. We are locking and securing the gates in 10 minutes. If you fail to comply, you are subject to arrest. The tsunami wave is expected to be hitting soon. Once again, you need to move to higher ground. You need to move to higher ground. You have 10 minutes.
Yeah, definitely clearing out Ala Park, a very popular place for, at this time of day, there would be a lot of people swimming, a lot of people jogging or walking. And so there are, again, Ala Beach Park is closed. Don't go there. And as police have been saying, you're subject to arrest. Also, Kekaha, Kauai, we have video from that area of the traffic backup along the highway. So there are a lot of people trying to move away, to move to safety, moving to higher ground, or at least maybe get home if they're one of those workers or people who are at work, trying to get to their family or their loved ones to make sure that they're prepared as far as tsunami preparations go.
And a lot of these shots that we're seeing of people driving out are mainly in the coastal areas, right? So
yeah.
Ko'olina, Kekaha, Kaneohe, and Kahalu'u. So, you just have residents in the area taking action, and there is lead time on this. The first wave is expected at 7:10. The next siren is expected at 5:10. So that's going to be in the 5 o'clock hour at 5:10, and there will be another one at 6:10. We have some video of the moment the sirens came down on Maui earlier this afternoon. Again, this is not a live siren. This is from earlier this afternoon.
So that's one of the first indications, at least on Maui, as the siren sounded. We did have the first siren sound at about 3:25, a little earlier, but again, sirens are going to be sounding hourly, 4:10, 5:10, 6:10, as we look at Kahului with Iao Valley off in the distance. We also have some traffic backups in Waikiki, a lot of people trying to get out of that low-lying area. Alawai Boulevard backed up as well. We have some video of that, and you've got 3-4 lanes of traffic backed up considerably, some viewer video. So just again, use patience, because there are just a few roadways. Kapahulu Avenue, you may want to take Montserrat and then cut across over to Diamond Head. If you want to take Montserrat and try to get to Kahala and then go back up, that's one thing that you should be able to do.
Yeah, and even when there isn't a tsunami warning, commuting around that area can be difficult at times, but that is a look at Alawai Boulevard. You're seeing a statewide response to this event right now. All of Hawaii is currently under a tsunami warning following an 8.8 magnitude earthquake. Tsunami has already been seen in parts of Russia and Japan. I am told that we have an interview with Kauai's mayor, Derek Kawakami, talking about the county's response. I will be informed when that is ready to go. But we're getting in touch with city leaders. Earlier we heard from Honolulu Mayor Rick Blangiardi, Hawaii County Mayor Kimo Alameda. Let's go back out to Waikiki right now. I believe this is a live shot. What we saw earlier this afternoon were state officers patrolling the coastline, telling beachgoers to please vacate the area. There are still some on the beach, but it looks much better than what it was about an hour and a half ago, when you saw many still in the water. I think also some of the hotels and the businesses may have been helping out with the evacuation response as well, because if those spots are going to be closing, you just want to get everyone to safety. This isn't a time to, be frantic about what could be happening, but be in a safe spot right now. Don't let yourself get caught into a situation where it could get hairy. And then also, too, as we approach the top of the 5 o'clock hour, the expectation is that we'll be hearing from Governor Josh Green in a news conference. We see Kauai County's Mayor, Derek Kawakami. We're told he is ready to go. Mayor, thank you very much for joining us. First off, what is the message that you want to impart about safety for Kauai County residents?
Well, I think you covered it perfectly. I think right now the number one mission is to get everybody to higher and safe ground. If you're in a safe area, then stay safe. Being on the road unnecessarily is adding to the traffic. Right now, our EOC is fully activated. Our IMT is ongoing with planning. It's all hands on deck. The number one thing that people can do is stay calm, stay safe, try to stay off of our roads if you don't need to be there. And if you're a low-lying area in a tsunami evacuation zone, you should be seeking higher ground.
Yeah, like I said, Mayor, we've got about 2 hours before the first wave is expected to, the first wave is expected to reach the Garden Isle. So let's say we've got about an hour and a half to basically prepare to get to safety. What should people be doing in the next 90 minutes?
All right, I believe our connection dropped off. Great question. We'll get to it and we'll relay it. Okay, we have Mayor back online. So what was that, Ben?
Yeah, I think, Mayor, I don't know if you heard the question, but we've got about 90 minutes at most, I will say, to be safe. What should people be doing, Kauai residents be doing in those 90 minutes?
They should be getting to higher ground. Material items are replaceable. Right now, if you don't need to be on the road, you should absolutely not be on the road. You should be seeking higher ground, and people need to stay calm. Right now, there's a sense of almost panic. The worst thing that could happen is causing an accident when people are trying to evacuate. So please, if you're in a safe place, stay there. 2 hours are gonna come real quick. We're trying to evacuate people that are in dangerous areas. And so what people should be doing is staying safe. If they're already safe, try to stay there, and stay tuned. Our best information for Kauai residents is kauai.gov/KEMA, or our county Facebook page is being updated regularly.
And I think, Mayor, also because there are a lot of coastal areas, because Mount Waialeale basically keeps people from going in or building in. The thing to remember as well, and I'm also talking about maybe visitors to the island, is that most of the roadways along the coastline are 2 lanes, and so you're going to have to practice a lot of patience. Is there anything that, say, law enforcement or others are trying to do as far as guiding traffic, or at least trying to bring some control to the situation?
Yes, they're all there right now. Hanalei is a very tricky spot with the number of 1-lane bridges. And also, people should not be inundating our 911 line if they don't have an emergency. If they're looking for information, please go to our website. Right now, our dispatch is being inundated, quite frankly, with non-emergency calls. They can get all the information they need from our website or our Facebook page. But yes, we are very challenged by the number of lanes on our highways, and that's why we're urging people that if you are safe and don't need to be on the road, do not be on the road.
We saw too that there are a number of shelters that have been opened up. What can you tell us about the resources available at these sites?
Well, right now, the number one thing and the number one resource is that we have these shelters open. As we proceed and see the impact of this tsunami, we will be able to get more resources out there. But the number one thing is we have a number of shelters that are open. People can take a look at our website to see specifically what shelters are open, and we will open more if needed, and we will close some if that is necessary too. But like I said, I think the number one thing people should do is not actually look for a shelter, but just get to higher ground. They can figure out the shelter after we get through this.
And not only just looking for a shelter, but just to make sure, again, for people like in Hanalei, the thing that I've been telling people is that not to do is to try and be like a looky-loo. You know, I want to go see the tsunami. That's something that you really shouldn't do.
Oh, you don't want to be that person.
Definitely. All right.
Kauai County Mayor Derek Kawakami, thank you very much for joining us as this is a statewide response. Stay safe out there. Kauai County and the counties across the state have this event covered right now and doing their best to get updates out in a timely fashion, making sure residents aren't panicking. We are going to take a quick break right now. Just going to reset and then we'll be joining you shortly.
Writing a book is hard. Knowing if it's good, even harder. Meet manuscript analysis.
Now, Fox News is reporting the earthquake is an 8.8 magnitude quake. Fox weather meteorologist Stephen Bender explains.
This continues to change. When it first came out, local time, just after 2 a.m. At Kamchatka, Alaska, 8 miles off the coast, it was 8.0. Then it jumped to 8.7. 8.8 is where we stay now. And last time we talked, Sean, that seems like a minute detail, a small change. It means it has 1.5 times more energy that's being dispersed out thousands of miles along the Pacific, triggering all those tsunami alerts that we have. So from an 8.7 to an 8.8 is actually a big difference. So we'll show you how massive this energy is sprawling out from the epicenter, 8 miles removed from the eastern coast of Russia. Tsunami warning for the Aleutian Islands, tsunami warning for Hawaii, and a watch in place for the West Coast. You mentioned Hawaii, right? And we've been getting the updates from Oahu, the emergency management. They have sirens going on right now. I think we have a live visual from Hawaii because, Sean, when you and I were talking, you think about what we're in right now. It's the summertime. Families are going to Hawaii. You're trying to make a dream out of this opportunity, and now you're hearing these sirens erupt. We saw people that were just relaxing at the beach, and big concerns about after 7:15 local time this evening is when the tsunami is expected to make impacts. This is something to take seriously in Oahu. The emergency management says you need to get to higher ground. If you're in a building and needs to be at least 10 stories, get to the 4th story or above, or that's not tall enough, find a bigger building. We start looking at the Aleutian Islands. This is actually where we look at the Aleutian megathrust. It's these tectonic plates. It's the most active spot in the entire world is in the North Pacific. I was talking with an Alaskan seismologist, Dr. Michael West, just earlier this month because of a big quake we had then. That was a 6 point something. Now we're at an 8.8. Looking at Hawaii, we are also getting some updates that out of Hilo, the airport is now closed because they're using this as the spot where they're going to be getting out emergency personnel to coordinate with any of the impacts that are going to happen. So they are shutting down the airports. They're getting the sirens, and they're telling everybody you need to get to higher ground. The visuals that we have seen on social media so far, and we're working to confirm for everybody to bring to you, is out of Kamchatka, Russia, 8 miles removed. They've already seen the wave push in and flooding along the coast. In Japan, we have also seen this. So this is a confirmed tsunami that is heading towards these directions. We have also had people that are in Maui, in Hawaii, that said there is massive traffic jams because everybody's trying to get to higher ground. If you look at the visuals there, you can see there is steep terrain, but a lot of the tourist areas, a lot of where people want to be are down on the water. They're in the marina as we scan it through there. And right now it looks beautiful. But when you talk about that wave energy, it can move quickly and it's rising fast. So as we zoom in, you'll still see at the beach there's some people relaxing. And honestly, if they're not getting these alerts, they're on vacation mode. Why would they leave until you start hearing those sirens? That's why it's so important to make sure people are getting their action plan. It does look like a few people are starting to leave. So you think about how far Hawaii is from the epicenter of this, thousands of miles, and it's not losing any of its energy. Go even further, and now you're along the lower 48, the West Coast, Pacific Northwest.
I got another sales call in like now, and I can't even remember the customer's name. His name.
補助してる感じもないですよね、水は今ね。はいはい。何言ってるか全然わかんない。 呼びかけてどうすんの？取っとけばいいのね。了解しました。これ今ちょっと水上がってきてる感じですよね。ね、ちょっと見えないけど、風もあるからちょっとわかんないですね。下風も強いってことですよね。
6 o'clock now.
From Hawaii News Now, this is breaking news.
Robbins, and we are tracking a tsunami warning, and we are going to be seeing the impact start after 7 o'clock. You see all of the islands under a tsunami warning. Let's take a closer look. The source of why we're seeing tsunami waves come our way is an 8.8 magnitude earthquake that happened in Russia. The depth at 20.7 kilometers. So incredible to see all of that energy. They're already seeing reports of big waves there along Japan as well, and now traveling over open waters. Closer to the epicenter, anywhere from 3 to 4 meters has already been reported. That brings us to 9 to 13 feet. And then you can see the first tsunami waves initially reported at 30 centimeters over in Japan, but it could be expected to be larger as we go into the next couple of hours. So here are the wave readings and what we're expecting when it comes to the forecast. Along the Russian coast, 3 to 4 meters, that's about 10 to 13 feet that I already have observed. In Japan, up to 3 meters, but already observing 1.3 feet. In Hawaii, expecting that after 7 o'clock, 1 to 3 meters. That brings us to anywhere from 3 to 10 feet. And also for Guam, the same forecast there, none confirmed yet. So historically, as we break this information down, the Great Chilean earthquake in 1960 was 9.5 magnitude. One of the strongest earthquakes arrived 15 hours later. Here in Hawaii, it was up to 35 feet. In 2010, the earthquake a magnitude of 8.8, much smaller when it comes to the tsunami waves at 3 feet. In 2011, Japan earthquake was 9.1, 6 to 7 feet. Lots of property damage, and we could be seeing some property damage along the coastline, some coastal flooding, and certainly with boats. So if you are in a vessel or have a vessel or know someone who are in harbors, definitely check on them to see if they have a plan to evacuate and to get away from the coastline and go inland towards Malka. And this is going to coincide with high tide peaking at 7:03. High tide coming in at 1.52 feet. High tide and tsunami coming in at the same time. Strong currents and rip currents is going to be a big concern for us with that coastal flooding. Well, it's really hard to say how big the tsunami is going to be, but the initial set of energy arriving at 7:10 in Honolulu this evening could easily be about 0.1 to 0.3, and then gradually getting larger and larger.
Imagine being able to build
progresses. According to some of the forecast readings, maybe 1 to 2 meters, which is quite significant. More than 3 feet a possibility. Unpredictable, strong currents. That's why you need to stay out of the water. We've been seeing very rough shorelines when we have tsunamis, and we've seen that in history. So something that we'll be watching very carefully are all of these elements coming together. Back to you guys.
Crews stationed throughout the island, including our Jonathan Saki, who's headed to the Pacific Tsunami Warning Center. And even our own Daryl Huff, who apparently is stuck in traffic as we monitor the different situations across the roadways, including reports of a lot of traffic jams across town.
This is a statewide response right now. So we've been showing throughout the afternoon is traffic jams throughout different parts and throughout different counties across Oahu. Many employees leaving their places of business. Governor Josh Green instructed state employees to leave after the warning came down just before 3 p.m. Hawaii time. And this is what we're talking about here. Many hitting the roads. This is from earlier this afternoon, just giving you a picture and giving you a sense right now as residents respond to this warning, which is unfolding in real time. First anticipated wave is at 7:10 this evening. There will be a warning siren going off any moment now. We were told that it will be happening at 5:10. So if that audio does kick in, forgive us here if you're hearing it over the air, or it could be popping up on our phones as well. But the expectation is that another siren will be going off at 5:10, after which we'll be hearing from Honolulu Mayor Rick Blangiardi and city officials here in Honolulu about the response.
Yeah, so of course you are seeing these images right now of the roads that are just jammed.
Okay, we're working out to get Stephanie's microphone sorted out right now as we're mapping out this response statewide. Traffic jams and traffic backups happening throughout Oahu right now. We are seeing Honolulu Mayor Rick Blangiardi getting ready for a podium, and another monitor we are monitoring in the newsroom here as we give you a look at the backup on windward Oahu. We also saw a similar sight on the leeward coast. Kole Kole Pass is opened up for emergency access at this point. Let's also give you video from Hilo right now. Hawaii County residents leaving the area, and you could be hearing the sirens over air right now as the second emergency siren warning of the tsunami warning is going off right now.
So the message that we've been hearing from emergency officials is to prepare, to have a plan in place. Do not panic at this time. As we take a look at the situation here in Kaka'ako, don't wait until the last minute to leave. But if you and your family do have a plan, meet at a meeting place. Make sure that you have the necessary materials, your medication. Make sure you unplug those sensitive electronics. Also, if you live on a boat or if you have a boat, make sure to tie up that boat properly and take it out to sea. So we again are hearing these sirens sounding off on cell phones across the state. Of course, Hawaii under a tsunami warning after a powerful magnitude 8.7 earthquake off the east coast of Kamchatka, Russia.
Let's go to Honolulu Mayor Rick Blangiardi at the city's Emergency Operations Center with an update.
Well, if you're watching us right now, you know you're fully aware that the state is under a tsunami alert. That said, what you're doing is the right thing to do. We ask you to pay attention, stay with your media for updates. Here in Oahu tonight, I'm surrounded by a bunch of people who are going to give you some really pertinent information. But I ask that you stay calm. If you're in a low-lying area, please get to high ground. You'll hear about our emergency centers that are open, and let Randy Collins, our Emergency Management Services Director, tell you that. But we need people to cooperate with each other. Right now, the roads are full, people trying to move. I ask you to stay calm, cooperate, and get to high ground, if at all possible, where you are. We promise to give you complete updates. Right now, the expected time of anything that might happen here in Oahu is going to be somewhere around 7:15. We're expecting it to be at Kauai around 7:10. We'll know. We've been told by Civil Defense that when it passes the island of Midway, we'll get a good read as to what we can expect, and that's not scheduled to happen for a while yet. But we promise to keep you updated. Please stay close to your media. Listen. If you are in a safe place, stay there. And if you're not, do something about it. Get to higher ground. So with that, I want to bring up Randy Collins, who's our Emergency Management Services Director. Randy.
Thank you, sir. Good evening. As the mayor indicated, our #1 priority is to get people to safety. So get out of the tsunami zones, out of the tsunami inundation areas. Those are clearly marked by these tsunami zone signs that you've seen around, that we worked hard in instilling over the past year to make sure that you're aware of where those tsunami zones are. You can also find out more information at www.honolulu.gov/DEM. There you will be able to find all the various types of resources about these tsunami warnings. As the mayor mentioned, our #1 priority is life safety. And so right now it's an easy thing. Get away from the beaches, get inland, and get upward. So that's our message right now. I would also tell you that we are working hard with all of the city agencies and other stakeholders to make sure that we are activating the tsunami assembly areas around the Oahu. And we want everyone to, if you do live in an area that's within a tsunami area, first and foremost, go to a friend's house, go to a neighbor's house, go to your workplace, but go inward and upward out of the tsunami area. If you have no other place to go, then go to the tsunami assembly areas that we have activated around Oahu. Would also encourage you to not call 911 for evacuation out of your home. Depend on your friends and family and your neighbors to help you get out of the tsunami zones. 911 services are not for helping to evacuate. Our 911 services are for in danger of life and health services. And so we don't want to over inundate the 911 centers. So please make sure that you use all other resources available to you to evacuate out of the tsunami zone and get to those other refuge areas. And again, as a last resort, go to those tsunami assembly areas. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Ocean Safety for some information about what's happening on the beaches.
Well, good evening again. I guess the tone was running. So I want to open up by saying if you're watching us right now, no doubt you understand that we're under a full tsunami alert here. And so that said, we at this point are taking that most seriously. And our appeal to you is to, if you're in a low-lying area, get yourself safe, get to higher ground. Okay, we ask people to stay calm, cooperate. We know the roads are full out there. Our anticipation right now, based on the latest information we have, is that we're a couple of hours away from any potential impact to Hawaii. We're going to get, as I understand it, we'll have a better read once it passes Midway, which should be substantially before then, and we'll be able to pass that on. I've come up here tonight with all the right people here to keep you informed. That's what we want to do, and we will continue to keep you informed. So everybody has power now. You have access to your media outlets. Pay attention, listen. We'll try to help you as much as we possibly can. All of our people are out there doing what they can to help people, but the best thing you can do is to help yourself and get you and your family safe. If you can, get to higher ground. Okay? So I'm going to bring up Ocean Safety right now.
Buck Giles from Ocean Safety. Not much to say, but just to reiterate, get to higher ground. Our lifeguard towers right now are closed. We have mobile responders currently giving warnings to people to get away from the beaches and out of the ocean. We've conducted ocean rescue warnings from Diamond Head through Kewalo Basin, as well as on the other sides of the island. But we really need to stress that get to higher ground, get out of those tsunami zones, just be smart and follow what the news is telling us. We will know more information as it comes. Again, we are here to help in before and after anything happens. Thank you very much.
Earn points and rewards you
Good
crave.
evening, Chief Hall
Penn
from the Honolulu
Station.
Fire Department.
Love your sub.
Just like everyone else said, I'm not going to repeat, but we want everyone to stay safe, evacuate early so you don't put yourself in a tough situation. As far as for our response, we'll do our best to continue services. And at a certain point, our personnel would also have to relocate those low-lying areas. So we came up with a plan to move our resources inland and at a higher elevation. And we're just going to monitor all the reports that continue to come in. And again, try and maintain as much of our response capabilities as long as we can, and not to endanger our staff as well. So I'll hand off to HPD. Thank you.
Hello everyone, Sergeant Dana Souza from the Honolulu Police Department, Major Events Division. Most everybody said it before me. We'll continue to work with fire, any other emergency management agencies to ensure public safety. If you could rely on one another and utilize your resources as much as possible. And if you need to utilize 911 for concurring emergencies. Thank you.
Hi, Roger Morton, Director of Transportation Services. A little bit about our transit situation. That we are planning to stop operating any trip that was scheduled to start at after 6 p.m. So up until 6 p.m., we're going to continue to operate trips. Having said that, some of those trips would not have finished their trip and still be in a possible inundation zone, And so there may be detours that drivers will take people to higher ground if they're in danger. If you are a loved one of somebody that takes the bus and you haven't heard from them, then I would urge you to try to call them and tell them what's going on with the bus service. We have a lot of people that have language difficulties sometimes, and got to get the word out to your loved ones that after 6 p.m. we're going to suspend any service that starts after that point. For Skyline, we're going to run Skyline until the 6:35 trip from Halava, and that'll be the last Skyline. Now, having said all of that, we're going to be monitoring the situation very closely after the event. It's possible that we will restore service sometime in the evening. Thank you.
So I want to say it one more time. You can help yourself the best. We're here to help you, but we need you to help yourself as well. We would not be doing this if this wasn't most serious at this point in time. So please take this very seriously, and don't go down to the beach. Don't be looking at waves. Get yourself as high as you possibly can. So with that, if I can answer any questions, we'll be happy to do so. Yes. You know, I would imagine that HPD right now is out there trying to move traffic along to the best of their ability. I know we've gotten some calls that it is horrible and people are in gridlock, and that's, you know, all I could ask is for people to keep their calm, and we'll try to move things along as best we can, you know.
We're getting calls from people who are disabled. Is there anything they can do with the handyman? Is there anything to try to...
Roger.
Yeah, we are stuck in the 93% of our service right now is running late, and most of our assets are not in a position where we could respond at this point. We urge the families to try to, to take advantage and keep their loved ones away if they're in low-lying areas.
Any other questions? Yes. Well, I know that they're doing a lot down in Waikiki if they're in hotels, and each and every property I think has got their own plans, if you will. So pay attention. This is real, and it's most serious. And if they happen to be watching, we don't have these events very often, but when we do, they're real and they're serious. So we just ask you to pay attention and do what you've been asked to do, and we're all going to hope for the best. All right, we'll be back, okay? We'll keep you posted. Anything that we hear that's definitive, that could be of importance in news, we certainly will provide that. All right, thank you.
And you just heard from emergency officials there. And as we take a look now from Kauai, about the Kauai emergency shelters, we're going to list them off for you. These are areas that you can evacuate to: Kapa'a High School, Kapa'a Middle School, Ele'ele Elementary School, Koloa Library, Kauai Community College, Kalaheo Neighborhood Center, Kilauea Elementary School. Now, these refuge areas will have parking and restroom facilities available. And keep in mind, if you are bringing a pet, make sure you bring a kennel, food, and water for the animal.
And county officials are responding statewide. And we just showed you the Kauai emergency shelters on Hawaii County. You have evacuation sites open at Pu'u'eo Community Center, Panaeva Park, Kea'au Armory, Pahoa Neighborhood Facility, Ka'u District Gym, the Na'alehu Community Center, Yano Hall, Kealakehe High School Gym, Waimea Community Center, Hisaoka Gym, and Honoka'a Gym. So a number of sites available for those seeking shelter on Hawaii County, as well as Kauai. And as we just heard, circling back to the news conference with Honolulu Mayor Rick Blangiardi, as well as with city first responders, there's an overarching message of, be prepared. Don't panic in this. Have a plan. So you leave the inundation areas, get inland, get upward. So the official warning came down just before 3 o'clock our time. Since then, we've seen traffic backups across different parts of the island, across different parts of the state. Roger Morton, City Transportation Director, was saying that bus service will be going on until about 6 o'clock this evening, and then Skyline, the last trip is at 6:35 from Halava. So there has been lead time in this, so there is time for many to take shelter.
Yes, and the emphasis is if you are in a low-lying area to move inward and upward, just as you said, Mark. But what hasn't been said is obviously if you are not in a tsunami zone, there is no need for you to be out on the roads. Again, we are seeing these images just coming into the newsroom right now of the traffic gridlock all across the island. And emergency officials want to make clear that we want to make sure that we do not congest or overwhelm these roadways unnecessarily. So if you do have a loved one, come up with a plan and make sure that you have a family member. Go ahead and meet them at that area. We want to go now live. We're hearing that a news conference is happening right now with Governor Josh Green, along with other state emergency officials about the tsunami warning. Let's listen in.
Everyone is prepared, everyone is ready for what may come, but there is always some uncertainty about the size of the wave. In about 5 minutes, we'll reconvene a statewide meeting. We will hear an update on the size of the wave, as I said, as it passes through the middle of the Pacific. We'll also be in communication with other states and islands, such as Guam, Tsunami, finding out what they have experienced. After the wave has passed, after we're all safe, we will reach out to these other friends of ours across the Pacific to support them in their recovery also.
Mahalo, Governor. Andrew?
From what you shared so far, is any of that based on any ocean readings between Russia and between Midway and Russia?
Yes, there was immediately a response from all of the nearshore buoys. The question was answered almost immediately. Right after the earthquake, it was clear to us that there was going to be a wave. As we have shared, we don't know how large a wave, usually until it passes Midway. And as you can see, it takes 5 to 6 hours to come across the Pacific in this case. That's why we're always postured to first check. We don't want to alarm people unnecessarily. But once we see that there's going to be a wave, we begin our protocol. And usually the protocol results in an initial siren, which you heard, just to kind of wake people up to the severity of the situation, followed by the 3 hours out, 2 hours out, the 1 hour out, and the 30-minute out warnings. At that point, we expect everyone to be fully evacuated, either out of the inundation zones or vertically. People should not, and I will say it one more time, should not, as we have seen in the past, stay around the shoreline or risk their lives just to see what a tsunami looks like. It is not a regular wave. It will actually kill you if you get hit by a tsunami. So you have to be out of that area. Please do not put anyone in a situation where General Logan has to search and find you with a helicopter. It is not likely we will recover you if a tsunami takes you from the shore.
If you're stuck in traffic right now or in the coming hour or so, trying to evacuate, at what point, should you consider, what advice do you have to people who are still trying to evacuate at this time and as it gets closer to the 7 o'clock?
I believe everyone should have adequate time to get out of the evacuation zones. There were some accidents on the highway as we were aware coming in. We'll continue to update you, especially based on the size of the wave. Obviously, everyone has to be away from the shoreline. We've been in contact with our tourism authority, Jimmy Tokioka, who's our director of DBED. He's been talking to the hotels. I've been speaking to the hospitals. They are prepared. They've actually activated additional shifts in case there are mass casualties. We are praying that that will not be necessary. If the waves come and go and then we give the all clear, we'll be back to fine. We'll be back to normal. We probably will have a lot of debris to clean up. That's where our team will execute kind of the cleanup. There could be some power failures if local poles go down. Be aware of that. There could be some loss of water pressure. That happens sometimes in these circumstances. But once we give the all clear, we will no longer worry about casualties when we'll just be cleaning up. I really think people should have plenty of time given where we are. Some of the traffic was already beginning to abate when we got here at about 4:55.
This formally concludes the presser, and we will stay tuned. We will have more updates in future press conferences. Mahalo.
to a news conference with Governor Josh Green and emergency officials who spoke earlier, re-emphasizing the same plan echoed by Honolulu Mayor Rick Blangiardi, that in a situation like this, we do have some time to prepare, so use that time. This isn't a time to freak out or panic. What we've been seeing is, aside from the traffic jams, some of the crowds at grocery stores, a very measured response statewide.
Yeah, we're even seeing those long lines at the gas pumps as well. But an important thing that was mentioned in the Honolulu press conference with Mayor Blangiardi was about the 93% of handy van services are running late at this time. So if you do have a loved one who is relying on that service, Roger Morton, you just heard, call them up, call your family member up and let them know that it's likely they will not be picked up. Again, he said 93% of handy van services are running late at that time, and he's urging families to please take care of their loved ones if they are relying on that service and if they need to get out.
Yeah, and let's give you just a recap of kind of how this afternoon has unfolded. The initial quake off the far east region of Russia happened about 1:30 this afternoon, was an 8.0. About 20 minutes later, it got updated to an 8.7 magnitude quake, extremely powerful, very deep below the ocean's surface, and then it was later upgraded to an 8.8. The first anticipated arrival is around 7:10, so we're about an hour and a half away. Governor Green was saying that a lot of the traffic on their way in, throughout Honolulu seems to have dissipated, as many have seemed to have found their sights. We're staying with you throughout this entire time. So is our First Alert weather team. Let's send it over to meteorologist Drew Davis with the latest. Drew.
Let's take a look at some of the historical context for this earthquake near Russia. Of course, I'm going to break this down percentage-wise. We've got the tsunamis that have affected Hawaii. 19% come from the west coast of South America, and this is since the 1850s, so it's a large swath of 150 years of data out there. And notice this, the second most, 16% from Kamchatka and the Kuril Islands just off to the east of Russia. Going down, you've got the west coast of North America. That's about 13%. 13% come from Alaska, and then 12% come from New Zealand and Pacific Islands, and it goes down as you're going closer to Indonesia. Well, you may notice about 6% is actually missing from this chart. The rest of the 6% comes from Hawaii. And I do want to talk about, again, some of the historical context from the 16% that come from Kamchatka and the Kuril Islands. In 1952, we had another earthquake off of the same area of Russia, the same fault line that we've been talking about over the past couple of weeks. We had a magnitude 7.5 a couple of weekends ago that actually triggered another tsunami watch. Again, we do have that tsunami warning right now. That watch upgraded to a warning around 3 p.m. this afternoon. There were no deaths from that 1952 earthquake in Hawaii, and I'm just reading some of the information that we have directly from NOAA. But the waves caused houses to collide, beached boats, destroyed piers, scoured beaches, and moved road pavement. And here on Hawaii Island, they had wave heights of 4 meters, a little bit over 3 feet, 1 meter on Maui, 9 meters on Oahu, and 3 meters on Kauai. Again, that's that 16% coming from Kamchatka and the Kuril Islands just off of Russia. Again, this is just a little bit more context to show you that it's very common here in Hawaii, at least over the last 150 years, and that's the only data that we have here, that we see these tsunamis moving across the Pacific Ocean and across the open water towards the island chain. For now, I'm going to send it back to Mark and Steph at the desk.
And we just got this in from Hawaiian Airlines. They issued a statement saying that we are monitoring a tsunami warning for the Hawaiian Islands and portions of the state of Alaska and assessing our flight operations. We are holding flight departures to the islands of islands on Hawaiian Airlines and Alaska Airlines, and as a safety precaution, flights en route to Hawaii are returning to the mainland or diverting as needed. And guests with travel to or from the Hawaiian Islands should check the status of their flight before heading to the airport. So we're going to be monitoring all the impacts here.
Yeah, and this is a statewide transportation response. When you have this much time leading up to when the initial wave is expected to arrive, a lot of the state agencies, a lot of those in the transportation business are, sending out their updates. We heard earlier this afternoon that the Hilo Airport is closed. In regard to harbors, those with the boats and vessels are expected to take them out, away from the harbor to avoid any sort of damage and keeping them tied off into the slips, because heading out into the open ocean is actually beneficial in these types of situations. And then we also heard as well State Department of Transportation officials and the military saying that Kole Kole Pass is open for Leeward Coast residents.
Right, and our Mahealani Richardson is standing by with an update on that. She just spoke to military officials and joins us now with the latest. Mahea.
That's right, Steph and Mark. This is in conjunction with the U.S. Army, the U.S. Navy, and state officials that Kole Kole Pass, linking the west side, particularly in the Lualua Valley area, is now connected to Central Oahu and Schofield Barracks. For many, many years, we had heard complaints, especially from those in the windward from West Oahu, rather, that they were trapped and they could not get out if there was an emergency because there is one way in and one way out. And after the Maui wildfires, people were particularly concerned. And so earlier this year, U.S. Army officials and the state had an exercise to rehearse this exact scenario. We just spoke with the U.S. Army Garrison Hawaii spokesperson, and here's what he had to say.
Yes, ma'am. So the U.S. Army, in partnership with the U.S. Navy, the DOT, and HAIMA, have opened up Kole Kole Pass on the leeward side to facilitate evacuations. From the west side, commuters will be able to travel Lualua Naval Road onto Lyman Road and exit in Central Oahu.
Are people using the pass now? Can you give us a sense of what's happening there now?
Yes, so both gates, the Navy and Army gates, have been opened on Kole Kole Pass, and civilian motorists are currently traveling from the Navy side onto the Army side and to Central Oahu from the west side.
It was a long-standing issue to use Kole Kole Pass. I remember a lot of people were anxious about being able to evacuate the west side because there's really only one way in and one way out. And there was an exercise specifically for this earlier this year. What can you tell us about that exercise?
Earlier this year, in January, we partnered with the Navy, HAIMA, DOT, and DEM for an exercise that simulated a wildfire on the west side. So to get vehicles from west side of Oahu to Central Oahu using Kole Kole Pass. So that was a proof of concept for something that we're using in a real life scenario today.
At least during your time with the Army, has Kole Kole Pass been used before for an emergency?
For an actual emergency, this is the first time that I've seen Kole Kole Pass been used for a real life scenario. We would like to say that the pass is very steep. There are several hazards throughout, so folks that decide to use this evacuation route, be extremely cautious and listen to military and evacuation personnel as you transit that pass.
You know, most people have not traveled along that pass, so how long does it take?
Right, so the pass technically starts around Lualua Naval Road. So if you turn right there at the Nanakuli McDonald's onto the road, go all the way back, it's very straight. It's mostly 2 lanes until you come across a small bridge, but it is fully paved. There may be some rocks in the road, so again, we just advise people to be extremely cautious while you're going up the pass.
And how long would it take to travel the whole pass?
With no traffic, it takes roughly 15 to 20 minutes to transit the pass. With traffic a little bit slower, it's hard to tell. I would say maybe upwards of 30 minutes or so. But it is the only alternative route if you're stuck in gridlock on Farrington.
Is there anything else that you would like our viewers at Hawaii News Now to know about the military's efforts during this tsunami warning?
I would just want everyone to know that the military is here as a community partner. We also live here in our community. Our families are in the community. So we want everyone to, be safe and get to safety if you are in low-lying areas, and listen for updates on official channels.
Can you tell us any information specifically about your service members and how they might be preparing if they are in low-lying areas?
Right, so we do have a couple of installations on low-lying areas. Pili La'au Army Recreation Center was evacuated about an hour ago, so the guests there have been evacuated from the west side. We also have several thousand guests staying at the Halikoa in Waikiki. So those guests are, to be protected from any potential storm surge, are advised to be roughly the 3rd or 4th floor and higher.
Okay, so the guests at the Halikoa, they're not being evacuated, but they were told to go to the 4th floor or higher.
Right, especially with traffic concerns and that kind of thing. Anyone in a high rise, if you can, the higher the better.
Are you getting any first reports specifically from the Halikoa and just how the situation is in Waikiki?
No specific reports. I did see that there are several folks still on the beach. So I would just really advise folks, take this warning seriously. Your safety should be of utmost concern.
And that is Nathan Wilkes from the U.S. Army Garrison. He's the spokesperson there. Again, Kolekole Pass is open, linking Lualualei area on the west side to Schofield Barracks in central Oahu. That pass was just in an exercise earlier this year, a multi-agency exercise, and it's now being used for real life. Back to you.
Lonnie, we appreciate that report. And standing by live now is Hawaii County Mayor Kimo Alameda. Mayor Alameda, thank you so much for joining us right now. I'm sure you and your administration are definitely monitoring the situation at this hour. Can you tell us what the county is doing to prepare?
Right now we're at the EOC. We've activated several hours already, and we got all hands on deck. We got all the departments here. And we're working across jurisdictions, so state, National Guard, Red Cross, our county workers as well. We've been through this before, and this is we're not, we're the island with the disasters, right? So it's like a well-oiled machine. So we're doing really well right now.
Mayor, what can you tell us about the shelters available and the resources there that being provided for those that want to attend the evacuation sites?
Yes, absolutely. We activated all our shelters, and so we're sending out messages already, various means, social media, our website, press release. They know where the shelters are at. We also deployed our teams to make sure that there's water and food, and and we're reaching out to our hotels. Those in the low-lying areas, if they need transportation, we have that as well. So we are transporting some folks who need the transportation to our shelters as we speak.
All the destinations to get the trip out of your
came out after 1:30 this afternoon. What are you seeing out there on the roads? Are people heeding the warning?
Yes, they are. In fact, there is road congestion, and so my message to the residents is to be patient. It's a warning, so we have time, and be respectful. And we sent out our police officers, as well as our firefighters, to make sure that the roads are safe. And if we need traffic cops in different areas, we are deploying them as we speak.
What kind of action is being taken as well in regard to the ports? And many have vessels tied up at harbors. What has been the message there?
Well, that's all, danger zones, right? So, they know the protocols on our island. They're very familiar with what to do with those vessels. In fact, Pride of America, a big ship, they knew what to do, and so they head out to the sea because it's safer there. And we took on their passengers. We provided them with transportation to our shelter as well. So, like I said, we have protocols in place. We've been there before, and we're just implementing it as we speak.
And Mayor, do you have a message for air travelers, and can you update us on the situation at Hilo Airport at this time?
Sure. So Hilo Airport's closed. Kona Airport's open, and it's in a safe zone, and so they are continuing their flights, is what I'm told. So if you're coming into Hilo or if you're going out of Hilo, it ain't gonna happen.
All right. Hawaii County Mayor Kimo Alameda, a comprehensive response being activated statewide right now. Mayor, thank you very much for joining us. I'm sure we'll be talking with you more throughout the evening as we keep a close watch on this tsunami warning. So shelters are activated. There was a lot of lead up time to this. Many are heading for higher ground. Speaking of which, we caught up with back here on Oahu. Our very own Billy V caught up with some residents and visitors who